Hello guys and welcome back to another episode. So today we're going to talk about protection warriors in Battle for Azeroth for patch 8.1. So protection warriors is a lovely warrior that has been since vanilla, and let's give them some love by creating this guide. So I hope this guide will be interesting for you. This guide will help you for playing protection warrior from the minimum to maximum efforts. And I mean, I'm just going through, as you can see here in the top, through the changes from patch 8.0 to 8.1, the stats, the Azerite traits, the talents, and the gameplay on how you should play protection warrior. So protection warrior again is one of my favorite tank specs in the game, and let's give them some love. So the first thing I would like to discuss is the changes from the old patch to the new patch. So here we have the changes for warriors, protection warriors. So ignore pain is now off the global cooldown. And that is pretty cool because now you can basically cast other spells on the same time with using ignore pain. But they also gave ignore pain a 1 second cooldown. And maybe some of you will say, why have they done that? But that's actually a quite cool thing, because if they didn't do that, you will be able to use ignore pain 2 times in a row with a misclick. That means maybe you don't want to use 2 ignore pain in a row because it doesn't have any global cooldown, so you could basically just click 2 times and then you get 2 ignore pains. But you don't really want that. You want to make sure that you only maybe use 1, so that's why they have made 1 second cooldown, so you can, you can misclick and nothing happens, so that's fine. Intercept is now also off the global cooldown, so that means you can now charge on the same time you use another spell. That's also fine, and it makes the rotation more smooth. Physical range attacks are now blockable. The same rules that apply for blocking melee attacks apply to this change. You must be facing the attack, and the attack must be the attack must be a target abilities against you. So shield block recharge time is now 60 seconds, down from 18 seconds. That means it's easier for you now to hold up the shield block for smoother rotation. It can somehow help you. You're still not able to hold up shield block 100% of your time, but it helps us holding the shield block. Vanguard now increase your stamina by 45 and your armor by 60, up from 40 and 50. So that means you have more stamina now, and you have even more armor now. So that's a pretty huge buff for protection warriors. So that was the changes. Let's now go through the stats. So the stats are pretty easy. First of all, you want to focus on haste. And now you probably ask, why do I need haste as a protection warrior? Well, first of all, it reduced the cooldown on Shield Slam, Thunderclap, Revenge, and also it reduced the cooldown of Shield Block. That means the more haste you get, the more shield blocks you can have up, the more Shield Slam, Thunderclap, and Revenges you can use. Also, of course, it reduced the global cooldown of your spells, it increased your attack speed, and it increased your rage generation, and of course the damage. So haste is like the most important secondary stat you can have. After that, it's specialty. Specialty decreases the damage you take, and it increases the damage you deal. Decreasing the damage you take is pretty important for tanks, and of course that's a thing you want to have. Also, it increased the healing / protection you get for ignore pain, so versatility is actually helping ignore pain to get stronger. So first of all, you should get haste, versatility. Number 3, you should have mastery. So mastery is quite cool. It increases your block chance, so you have a bigger block chance every time you get attacked, and it also gives you something called critical block. And that means sometimes when you block, you have a chance to block twice the amount of damage. So that's called the critical block. It's pretty cool. Also, mastery increases your attack power, so that means mastery also gives you more damage. I mean, it's pretty cool. And beside that, mastery, well, you can see mastery increases your attack power. Ignore pain is actually giving you a shield depending on how much attack power you have. So mastery is actually also making you ignore pain stronger. So you could say haste, versatility, mastery are both all 3 great stats that make your, well, survivability easier. The last one is critical strike. Well, you can say due to critical strike you really don't need it so much as a tank because it's just random crit numbers you will be doing for more damage, but actually critical strike is actually increasing your parry chance as protection warrior. So critical strike is not useless, it still gives you more, you can say, more parry, so it's still better than nothing, but it's still the last of these, you can say, secondary stats. Also, of course, for remember, it's very important for you to get armor, but basically all your gear pieces will have armor on them, so don't think about too much about that. So that was the changes, the stats, and the next thing would be Azerite traits. So let's go to the next page and see the Azerite traits that I recommend. So we will start with the Outer Ring Azerite traits. So the first one I recommend for Outer Ring is Deafening Crash. Thunderclap deals additional 30 damage and extends the duration of your Demoration Shout on affected enemies by 2 seconds up to 6 seconds. It is pretty great. It increases your damage of your AoE and it increases your effect of Demoration Shout. So all in all, it's a great Azerite trait. The next one is Brace for Impact. Using Shield Slam increase your block by 166 and the damage of your Shield Slam by 205 for 9 seconds. Multiple application of this effect may overlap. The last one I'm recommending is Iron Fortress. Increase block by 199, and blocking an attack deals 211 physical damage to the attacker. Critical blocks double the damage. Those 3 are like my favorite for protection warriors Outer Ring Azerite traits. Of course, there's also other Azerite traits for Outer Ring that is good, but this is just mine 3 I recommend, and I think it's the best one. The Middle Ring. So the first one I recommend is the one called Azerite Veins. Taking damage has a chance to grant you Azerite Veins, healing you for 650 every 30 seconds, lasts up to 18 seconds or until you are fully healed. I mean, it's a great one, so every time you get damage you have a chance to self-heal yourself. Why not? I mean, self-heal is nice. The next one is Life Speed, and it's really great because it gives you haste and avoidance. And again, the most important stat is haste, so why not get some more haste? The next one is Crystalline Cavernous. When dealt damage greater than 10% of your maximum health, you gain 62 armor and cause melee attackers to suffer 71 physical damage. It lasts 12 seconds. So these 3 are the one I recommend for Middle Ring in your Azerite traits. The last one is the Inner Ring. So normally I don't talk about Inner Ring, but when you play a tank it's pretty important with your survivability, so that's why I'm going to mention Inner Ring now. So Gemhide is my favorite one. Gemhide causes you to gain avoidance and armor for 10 seconds when you take damage exceeds 10% of your maximum health. So again, it's really great, it helps you in survivability. The next one is Impassive Visage, heals you when you take damage, and it can not only clear more every 6 seconds. So that's just every time you get damage, you get healing every 6 seconds. It's a great one for tank, I mean it gives you self-healing, so why not? Resounding Protection causes you to gain an Absorb Shield every 30 seconds. It's also a great one and can really be recommended. So if you can get any of these Inner Rings, Azerite traits on your Inner Ring, I can really recommend them. Just take any of them, but again you can also take it in the order that I have placed them in. So that is pretty much the changes, the stats and the Azerite traits. So the next one will be the talents and the gameplay. So for that I have to switch over to my World of Warcraft game, so I will just click and switch over. And we are in the game. So let's talk about the talents. So first of all, what I can recommend in talents is I will go through each of the rows and tell what I can recommend. So in the first row here I 100% recommend Into the Fray. It gives you a lot of haste boost, it gives you more haste depending on how many allies or enemies that is standing near to you. The more haste you get, again, the more the more what is called shield block you can get out. You have lower cooldown on a lot of your spells. You have more rage generation. Again, everything I said about the haste, why haste is good. You get more haste here. It's just 100% totally worth it. So into the fray, I would say no matter what. The next row here is basically up to you. All these is kind of just helping you in some different ways. So you can either have more mobility, or you can have safeguard for helping your friends. Or you can use my favorite one called Crackling Thunder, that gives your thunderclap a bigger AoE field. So increase the radius of 50. So I would myself all the time use Crackling Thunder, as it helps me for holding a big group of trash mobs. For the next one, I 100% also recommend Unstoppable Force. It generates almost the same amount of rage that Dragon Roar gives. So Dragon Roar and Unstoppable Force is in overall generating the same amount of rage, but Unstoppable Force is winning on the damage part. So Unstoppable Force is the one I 100% recommend. Also, you can use Unstoppable. You can see here, Avatar increases damage of Thunderclap by 100 and reduces its cooldown by 50. So I can 100% recommend Unstoppable Force, but Dragon Roar can also be good. It's up to you, but again, I'm recommending Unstoppable Force. The next one down here, Individual, that gives you 10% more health, can also be quite good if you need, just more health. So if you really need the more health in your health pool for surviving on this boss, it can help you. But else I'm recommending using Bolster, because now Last Stand only have 2-minute cooldown, and it additional blocks all your melee attacks. That means the same effect you have your shield block, that is the most important of your spell, shield block. Now Last Stand is basically doing the same. That means you can use shield block 2 times in a row. That means you have a 12-second shield block, and after that you can use your Last Stand, and you have 15 seconds shield block on you with Last Stand. And in those 15 seconds you can get your shield block ready again. So it is quite good to have Bolster. So I would 100% recommend Bolster, because it gives you like a 2 times shield block, and it also decreases the cooldown of your Last Stand. So all, I think it's a really great talent. For the next row, I'm personally recommending, this one here is pretty much up to you. I like to use Shockwave, the Rumbling Earth. So when Shockwave strikes at least 3 targets, its cooldown is reduced by 15 seconds. You can also take your 1 additional stun, so instead of you only have Shockwave, you also have Stormbolt as a stun. Or you can take minions where you fear a lot of mobs, but instead of them running around, they just stand in the same position, and you can use it like an AoE interruption. But again, this row here is pretty much up to you how you want to take it. The next row here, I'm 100% recommending Booming Voice. So when you use Demolition Shout, you generate 40 rage ASAP and increase the damage you deal to the affected targets by 15%. It is pretty great. On the next row, I'm recommending Ancient Management. So every time you use 10 rage, it reduces the remaining cooldown on Avatar, Last Stand, and Shield Wall and Demolition Shout. So all your important cooldowns is getting reduced in cooldown every time you use rage. And the more haste you have, the more rage also you will be spending. So in overall, I would say that it's pretty good. So you can see the spec is kinda like this, and it's my favorite spec, I would say. Of course, in some situation you could change up some bits, but now I just showed you and told you why I like to have these talents and why I recommend it. So the next part will be, we have to talk about the gameplay. So there's a basic thing you have to understand with Protection Warriors. A lot of people think that Ignore Pain is actually better than Shield Block. That is false. Why do you think Shield Block has a cooldown and Ignore Pain don't have a cooldown? Because Shield Block is more important. So for example, let me show you what an opener could be. So if you are saying this is the boss, we're going to open up this boss here. So what I would start on an opener is, let me show you here. Let's do it. So first of all, charge, Demolition Shout, Shield Block, and Shield Slam. and shield block again. And you can see that is kind of what I would do for a starter. So let me show you here again. So the first thing I would do for a starter is intercept, demolition shout, shield block, shield slam, shield block. But only use shield block 2 times in a row if it's really necessary, because shield block is blocking all the attacks you get. So if you are in a phase right now where the boss doesn't really do any damage, it could actually be kind of waste to use a shield block. You could maybe just use one, so it's still, you know, kind of useful and it's getting back soon for cooldown again. But yeah, so let me go through the starter again, the opener. So intercept, demolition shout, shield block, shield slam, shield block. Also to the rotation, you could actually also add avatar in there as additional one. The reason for why I use demolition shout is because of booming voice. So it gives me 40 rage ASAP and I deal more damage to the target. So what I recommend is intercept, demolition shout, shield block, shield slam, shield block. And again, remember that, let me show you here. Ratio shield block all melee attacks against you. For this block can increase shield slam damage by 30 while active. So that is why it's very important for you to use shield block before you use shield slam, because it will increase the damage by 30. So let's try include avatar in the rotation. So what I would do is charge, avatar, demolition shout, shield block, shield slam, shield block. That could be the rotation for the opener. After that, it's pretty much use shield slam every time you can, thunderclap and devastate as your filler. So remember also, devastate is going to apply a bleeding on the target. It's kind of important for you to hold that bleeding up also. So if we forget about the opener right now, the most important part for you is to keep up shield block. That is like the omega for playing protection warrior. You cannot keep up. Well, you can see right now if I stand here. So you can see right now my shield block has 13 seconds cooldown. That means if I use shield block one time and one time again, I have shield block now on 10 seconds. That means when those 10 seconds are off, I can use one more shield block. So you can see it's off now, and I can use one now. And again, when this one is off in 5 seconds, I actually have to wait. Now I have to wait 8 seconds before I can use shield block. What you could do in that time where you cannot use shield block, if you're a talented bolster, you can use your last stand, and last stand will increase your health now, and it will block all the attacks exactly like shield block. That means when last stand is going off very soon, I now have 2 stacks of shield block. So in that way you can use 2 times shield block, last stand, and 2 times shield block. It is quite useful. Also, if last stand is not ready and if shield block is not ready, you can also use ignore pain. So fight through the pain, ignoring 50% of damage taken up to 20,000. And it can be stacked, so you can see now it's 20,000, and if I use it again, 25,000. And I can see it looks like it only able to actually ignore up to 25,000. Yeah, so it's 2 times stacks, but it didn't stack like double effect, it was only like 1 effect. So you should probably avoid stacking too much and just use it when shield block or last stand is on cooldown, because shield block is still better. But again, ignore pain can also be good if it's like if the boss is casting spells, for example. A lot of spells cannot be blocked, so that's why ignore pain can be useful in those situations. So ignore pain, sorry, shield block is really good if the spells can actually be blocked. You can always look that up on Google if this desired spells can be blocked. And ignore pain is better if the spell is not blockable. But in most cases, shield block would be the best one. So let's try go through the opener again. So intercept, avatar, demolition shout, shield block, shield slam, shield block, and from here on it's like your normal rotation with thunderclap, devastate. Just keeping up your 3 damage rotations and use shield block every time you can. And when that shield block is ready, you can use ignore pain or even use last stand as an additional shield block. I mean, there's not really any primary rotation for protection warriors for dealing most damage. It's kind of up to you. You have your charge, you have your thunderclap that is great for multiple targets, you have your what is called shield slam, but you should always try to see if you can get a shield block off first, so shield slam deals 30% increased damage. Keep in mind, every time you use devastate, thunderclap or revenge, you have 30% chance for shield slam to actually reset. So you can see here, if we maybe try, and it reset. It's quite cool. Also, if you're going against multiple targets, spamming thunderclap and using revenge is really great, as revenge attacks everyone in front of you, and it keeps the deep wound. So normally you have to use devastate and they get the bleeding, but if you use revenge they also get the bleeding. But revenge costs quite a lot of rage, so you should never use revenge on a single target monster. It should always be on multiple targets. So always use revenge on multiple targets. Keep in mind, you also have an interrupt. You have a battle shout you need to have active all the time so you get more attack power. You also have shield wall that reduce all damage taken by 40%. You have a stun, the shockwave. You have a fear for interrupting your enemies. And you have your demolition shout to reduce all damage they done to you by 20%. Also, if you're talented in booming voice, you get 40 rage when you use demolition shout. You also have avatar that increase all damage by 20 and remove all roots and snares. You also have heroic leap, where you can kind of jumping around and defend. If you get feared in a boss fight, you can use berserker rage and it removes all fear, sap and incapacitate. So berserking rage. And if you see a boss casting a spell on you, you can use spell reflection, and for the next 4 seconds you will actually reflect the spell back to the enemy. So it's quite cool. So in overall, protection warriors, I think they are quite nice to play, and they have a lot of cooldowns that can help them out in different situations. But again, if the opener I would do anything on the boss, it would be something like this: intercept, avatar, demolition shout, shield block, shield slam, shield block, and kind of just follow the normal rotation with using devastate as a filler, thunderclap every time I can, and shield slam every time I also can, and try to hold up shield block. But again, with shield block, if you know the enemy is going to use something very strong spell soon and you can block it, save 1 charge shield block for the phase where you know it's better. It's not like playing other tanks where you can keep up the debuff or the buff up all the time. Shield block is not 100% up, so you kind of have to plan it so it's good. I mean, in the first minute of fighting, you can pretty much have shield block all of the time because you have like 3 stacks you can use, and you have your last stand that helps you if your talent bolster. So all in all, I think that's pretty much the protection warrior. So yeah, so thank you guys for watching. So this was pretty much the protection warrior guide, where we went through changes, stats, Azerite, talents and gameplay. I really hope you enjoyed this guide, and well, tell me in the comment section below if you have any comments about protection warriors. Else I'm very glad for you watched my movie. Please also leave down a comment which guide would you like to see next time of Battle for Azeroth. And sorry for not making videos in a guide for 6 days. I have been in Poland on a business trip where I pretty much every night I was out together with the customer and doing stuff. So now I'm back in business again here on my YouTube, so leave down a comment, tell me which guide would you like to see next time, and I will fulfill that dream. So thanks guys for watching, and thank you all for the support, and have a really great day.